Back again with another update. So the last part I got to was that my mum had increased from 9% kidney function to 90%, which was absolutely amazing. Um, and myself, I'd gone in with 93%, and by the time I left hospital on the Monday, so 5 days after the donation, my kidneys were still functioning at over 90%, which again was brilliant. I expected it to drop straight down, but apparently it's not. It's the body sort of compensated and haven't quite realised that it had gone. Um, by the Monday, I was starting to, sort of feel a bit more. I'd had a look at my scars. So I had 4 keyhole marks on the right side of my body, which were tiny and nothing really, they weren't very big at all. And I then had a longer 6-inch cut at the bottom, like a cesarean cut, and that was stitched with a long continuous stitch. It's basically one long piece of material that goes straight through, sort of looping over. It's literally one long stitch that you can't see under the skin. Um, it did look a bit strange, started, a bit bumpy is the only way I can describe it, and that did kind of put me off. But I, had to get on with things. So I was out of hospital on the Monday, and I went back to my sister's house to start my recovery because obviously I couldn't drive, lift anything, and I spent that next week or so just resting up, trying to do what I can, but you really do feel knocked for six. That's the one thing I will say. A lack of energy is. I didn't think it'd be this bad, but I could sleep morning, noon, and night. Trying to get out of that now, but it is really hard. It is really tiring afterwards. Um, I don't know what my current function is now. All I know is I left the hospital on over 90%, and when I go back for my 4-week checkup, they'll obviously do some more tests on me, and I'll find out. But they checked it. I had a blood test every single morning when I was in hospital for the 5 days to see what it was, and it's stayed steady at that. So that's the last I know. Now, since then, my mum's obviously come home. She dropped down after the first week to just over 60%, which again, that in fairness was what I was expecting initially for her to be about 50-60, so that was absolutely fine. It wasn't too much of a shock. That was expected because she's only had 1 kidney from me, so technically only half the function. That was fine. On Monday this week, so today is Sunday, on Monday this week my mum went in. She has to go to hospital Monday and Friday every week at the moment. And they did the test. She came home. She then got a phone call to say that her toxic levels had gone up and she needed to go back in for a drip overnight just to flush out the kidney. So she did that on Monday, and by the morning the levels had dropped, so she was let out again. That was fine. Again, she's been back at home. She looks fantastic. Just everything seems a bit different. She just seems a bit brighter. If anything, her recovery to start with was better than mine. She was up and out before bed before I was, reading magazines and just seemed so much chirpier. It was fantastic to see. So then Friday, so 2 days ago, again she went to hospital in the day for a routine checkup. She got a phone call on Friday afternoon after she'd come home to say that they needed her back in because her toxic levels had risen up again, this time more than the Monday. So I presumed at that point they were going to just do another drip and try and fish it out. But what actually happened is she actually got taken in for an emergency biopsy on the kidney. Now, if any of you are going through this, if you've seen somebody that's had a biopsy, it's generally very uncomfortable afterwards. Not nice. I've seen my mum when she's been, they can't physically move for 6 hours. They have to lay flat to minimise any bleeding in the kidney, and they do see it to be quite a bit of pain, even with the pain relief. Wasn't anything like that this time. I saw my mum on Friday night, about 2 hours after the biopsy, and she actually seemed quite fine. She said, it was nowhere near as difficult or as painful as when they'd gone into her own normal kidneys at the back. Now that my kidney was located on the front, she said it was 10 times easier, and it was only the anaesthetic as normal that was a bit of a pain for her, but no, the actual biopsy was fine, so that was better, at least that she hadn't gone through too much pain. And we were then waiting for the results yesterday. Yesterday it transpires that she is now having a small rejection to my kidney, which has been difficult to take. For those of you that are going to consider this, you've got to realise you've got to take the good with the bad. I'm sat here now, so she's back in hospital to get today, and she's on a steroid drip. They've given her 3 to try and stop the rejection, and at this stage I don't know what's going to happen, whether it's going to continue to reject or whether it will actually stop it, but apparently it's quite common for this to happen. So I was a bit over emotional yesterday. Um, you know, it's hard enough when it's your mum or a relative, but I think the fact now that I've gone through all that, she's got my kidney, and just knowing if this doesn't work and if something does fail, which we have to be prepared for, that I can't do anything else now. I can't give her any more kidneys. There's nothing else, that I physically can do myself. And I think that's the hardest thing for me, knowing that if it doesn't work, that's the end of it for me. But my mum's in good spirits, and I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. The doctors warned me that I would possibly get sort of baby blues afterwards and might feel it down, which the past sort of 5 days I have been getting. Just very tearful for no reason, feeling very, not agitated, but just not quite myself. So I am just trying to push past that, with the help of my friends and family. It is being a bit easier. So that's currently where we're at today, Sunday the 9th of October 2011. My mum's in hospital as we speak on a steroid drip, and we are waiting to see what happens. I myself am back home now. I've actually just moved back into my own place tonight, and it's just a case of waiting to see what happens. I have got some pictures that I will post up shortly, but I'll keep you posted as to what happens from here on out.